27 teenagers bubbling with the promise of life, on the cusp of one final glorious adventure before adulthood beckoned. Then, silence. Vanished. No frantic calls, no tragic discoveries, just an unnerving, echoing void. For 22 long years, the story of Forest Grove High's class of '99 was whispered as a terrifying urban legend, a grim, cautionary tale shared around crackling campfires. That is, until June 3rd, 2021. Deep within Oregon's Rogue River-Siskiyou National Forest, a hiker stumbled upon more than just nature. He found a rusted school bus, swallowed by moss, its secrets decaying within, moldy yearbooks, faded dreams, and something else. Something no one was prepared for. Our story begins earlier, June 3rd, 2021 to be precise. A seasoned hiker veering from his usual path caught a strange glint of yellow through the dense Oregon trees. Old equipment? A forgotten ranger outpost? Curiosity pulled him closer. What he found was the shattered skeletal shell of a school bus, half devoured by the relentless forest. The number on its side, almost erased by time. Inside, time hadn't just stopped, it had rotted. Dusty backpacks, still clinging to seats, faded Polaroids, a warped cassette player, pages of a yearbook fused together by mold. But in the very back, beneath a pile of decaying clothing, unmistakably, a human jawbone. When investigators descended upon the scene, the pieces clicked into a horrifying mosaic. The bus, the location, it could only be connected to one of Oregon's most chilling cold cases, the disappearance of the Forest Grove High School senior class, the class of 1999, during their ill-fated graduation trip. But the deeper they dug, the more impossible the puzzle became. No record of this specific bus ever being rented. No trail cameras, even modern ones, had captured its entry. No discernible road nearby capable of handling such a vehicle. Yet, inside, personal items belonging to nearly every single missing student. Some belongings eerily intact, others arranged with a chilling deliberation. Like a message, or a ritual. Whatever happened on that bus wasn't a simple accident. What the forest had concealed for over 2 decades was far more than a tragedy. It was a secret no one was ever meant to find. Flashback to May 1999. The halls of Forest Grove High School crackled with the electric energy of seniors on the precipice of freedom. Locker doors slammed, laughter ricocheted, teachers wore those weary, proud smiles. Graduation was a whisper away. Among them, a tight-knit group of 26 students, inseparable through shared classes, heartbreaks, inside jokes, and the roar of Friday night games. There was Lacey Monroe, valedictorian, student council president, her future gleaming like polished Ivy League brass. Her father, Mayor Thomas Monroe, rarely missed a chance to trumpet her achievements, but close friends saw the pressure cooker beneath the polished smile, the hidden panic attacks. Jared Fields, the irrepressible class clown, camera perpetually in hand, narrating his own mockumentary of high school life. He planned to turn this camping trip into his final masterpiece, a time capsule. Gonna be my Blair Witch, but funnier, he'd joked, a sharp intelligence glinting in his eyes. Tyrese Hall, towering, proud, a full-ride football scholarship to Oregon State, his ticket out. Everyone expected greatness. But with every accolade, a creeping shadow of doubt. What if the best was already behind him? And then there was Emily Tran, the quiet observer, her presence often marked only by the soft scratch of pencil on paper. Her sketchbook, a constant companion, filled with portraits of classmates often unaware they were being immortalized, and unsettling forest scenes she claimed visited her in dreams. She rarely spoke, but when she did, her words lingered, not quite in the group, but trusted by all. As the final bell of that fateful Friday rang, Green Day's Good Riddance blasted from a car stereo. Permission slips collected. The upcoming trip to the Rogue River Wilderness dominated every conversation. June 5th, 1999. A day meant for celebration. 27 seniors, including one who joined the main group of 26 from Forest Grove, their graduation trip months in the planning. The destination, a remote campground deep within Oregon's Rogue River-Siskiyou National Forest, isolated, scenic, and wonderfully far from parents and rules. They departed that Saturday morning in a yellow school bus driven by Mr. Harold Griggs, a substitute who'd filled in last minute. Waves, cheers, grainy camcorder footage capturing laughter and a final group photo, the last images, the last goodbyes. That evening, 6:41 p.m., Mrs. Elsie McClure's voicemail beeped. Her daughter, Rachel, muffled laughter in the background, someone shouting, "Turn that off." A pause, then only static. No goodbye, just the cold hum of an ended connection. When the bus failed to check in, initial assumptions were delays. Fog had rolled in, forest roads were treacherous, but by Sunday morning, anxiety curdled into panic. Search and rescue teams swarmed. Helicopters buzzed overhead. K-9 units tracked scents to dead ends. No tire tracks, no cell pings, no broken branches. The campground host confirmed, no yellow school bus. They had simply vanished. 3 days. In the search widened. A week later, a fisherman found a disposable camera half buried in mud 15 miles from the main road. Casing cracked, water damaged. Inside, nothing. The film was gone. 10 days after that, another cruel twist. Mr. and Mrs. Callahan, parents of missing Trevor, received a letter. No return address, no postmark. 5 words in shaky handwriting. "We made it. Please stop looking." Hope surged, then crashed. Handwriting experts deemed it likely forged, possibly traced. Rumors ignited. A staged disappearance? A cult? Were they hiding? Alive? But facts remained immutable. No bus, no driver, no 27 students. Plus the 2 chaperoning teachers who were also on board, Mr. Carl Muse and Miss Janine Crawford, bringing the total to 30 missing souls. No witnesses. After 2 agonizing months, the case was quietly shelved, an unsolved missing persons event. But parents never stopped looking. Some walked those forest trails annually. Others papered boards with aging photos. One father, Robert Vasquez, journaled every theory, every sleepless night. He once wrote, "I don't think they drove off the road. I think something took them. Something that didn't want them found." He never elaborated. No one ever proved him wrong. 21 years drifted by. Forest Grove High echoed with new laughter, new dreams, but a shadow persisted. A bronze plaque, near the entrance, gone but never forgotten. Class of 1999. Annual memorials, 27 candles flickering. Bedrooms across town remained untouched shrines, trophies gathering dust, as if their owners might walk back in any second. No one clung to hope with more fierce tenacity than Lacey's mother, Irene. While others buried their hope, Irene sharpened hers into resolve. No grave marker, no death certificate signed. Lacey's toothbrush in its holder, her bed freshly made each morning. "She's not gone," Irene would insist, her gaze unwavering. "I feel it." Then, June 3rd, 2021. Back to that fateful discovery. Travis Milner, the off-duty firefighter, bushwhacking far from marked paths, that flash of yellow, the rusted tomb, number 57, barely legible. The interior, a mausoleum of forgotten youth, Letterman jackets, graduation caps, and the bones. Not one set, but several. Later confirmed, 17 individuals. He called 911. The cold case blazed back to life. Investigators began their grim inventory, most items weather-ravaged, but in a cracked, mold-covered backpack under the driver's seat, a manila folder. Waterlogged, yet a few items within were preserved. Hand-drawn sketches, charcoal and pencil. Signed, Emily T. Emily Tran, the quiet girl. Her body was not among the remains. The sketches were haunting, disturbing. Figures in a forest clearing, circled around a fire. Faces hidden by crude, blank masks. Blood dripping from tree branches forming a circle. Unknowable symbols. The final sketch. The school bus, surrounded by tall, faceless silhouettes. And in the front window behind the wheel, a mask. Dental records and DNA painted a partial horrifying picture of the 28 people who vanished, 26 students and the 2 chaperoning teachers, Mr. Carl Muse and Miss Janine Crawford. 17 student bodies were recovered from the bus, but 9 students, both teachers, and the driver, Mr. Griggs, remained unaccounted. 4. This wasn't a tragic accident. The bus was too deep, too deliberately hidden. Why only 17? Where were the others? And why was Emily Tran, the silent artist, sketching scenes of ritualistic horror? The leaked sketches fueled a new, darker theory. What really happened in those woods? And who, if anyone, ensured they'd never return? Days later, the Bend police station, already a hive of activity, received an unexpected visitor. June 10th. Early morning. A man walked in. Gaunt, fragile, clothes ragged. His long, disheveled hair clung to his face. His eyes, sunken pits of exhaustion, darted nervously. He approached the front desk, his voice a raw whisper that cut through the station's hum. "I'm Jared Fields, from the class of 1999. Silence. Disbelief. Jared Fields? Vanished for 22 years? Sergeant Emily Wells stepped forward. "Mr. Fields, can we see some identification?" Jared just trembled. "I was never supposed to come back," he mumbled. "They're still watching." "Who's watching, Mr. Fields?" "I don't know. None of us were supposed to come back." A forensic tech rushed in. Fingerprints, DNA, a match. It was Jared Fields. "I told you," he whispered, eyes wide with a terror that hadn't faded in 2 decades. "I shouldn't have come back." Before they could press him further, he bolted. "I can't stay here, they'll find me." And he was gone, leaving more questions than answers. A living witness, but a witness terrified of a nightmare that, for him, had clearly never ended. A few days later, Jared, now in protective custody, sat across from investigators. He was ready to talk. "They were all dead, you know," he began, voice shaky. "The ones who didn't resist, they were never seen again. It started the day the bus broke down," he recounted. "Miles from anywhere, that's when they found us. They wore these robes, gray as if woven from the forest floor itself. The Chosen, they called themselves. An off-grid sanctuary, they promised. A haven from a crumbling world. We were stuck. No signal. We followed them. What choice did we have? At first, the commune, it was peaceful. Too peaceful. Food, shelter. But the air felt heavy, slow. Then, the reconditioning began. Forget your past, they said. It was cleansing. The food had tasted wrong. Drugged, perhaps, dulling our senses. Vivid nightmares. Sleep in controlled shifts. Some kids resisted, wanted to leave. I saw them try. I heard their screams as they were dragged into the deep woods, never to be seen again. They were sacrificed. They told us the world outside had ended. We were chosen for a new world. But it wasn't a choice. It was a prison. And those who didn't accept it, they were offered to the forest." Jared's voice dropped. "By 2006, I couldn't take it anymore. I found a way. I ran until the forest spat me out, a ghost of my former self. I stayed hidden, terrified. When I heard the bus was found, I knew. They hadn't forgotten. I had to tell someone." Jared's story, occult, reconditioning, sacrifice, was beyond horrifying. He had escaped. His classmates were never meant to. The forest held their secrets, and now one of its own had returned to speak for the dead. The reaction to Jared's return was explosive. Some parents clung to his words, desperate for closure. Others, especially families of those still missing. From the bus, the 9 students, 2 teachers and driver, refused to believe. He was a traumatized survivor, his mind warped. The media frenzy was relentless. Hero or delusional maniac. Months later, Jared's memoir hit the shelves, recounting his harrowing ordeal. It sparked new theories, new debates. Was it truth? Or the elaborate fiction of a broken mind? One cool, overcast afternoon, Jared returned to Forest Grove High, to the memorial. He knelt, pulling a faded, moldy yearbook from his jacket. He opened it carefully, pages yellowed, and placed a small, handwritten note inside, tucked beneath the cover. It read, "We tried to leave, only I made it. I'm sorry." He stared at the names etched in stone, the weight of 22 years pressing down. Then, without a word, he turned and walked away. The aftermath of the class of 1999's disappearance remains an open wound. Some say Jared fabricated everything to cope with an unspeakable trauma. Others believe the truth is even darker than his chilling account, a horror still lurking deep within the Oregon woods. What do you think happened to the class of '99? Was Jared telling the whole truth? Or does an even more sinister secret still lie buried in the Oregon wilderness? Drop your theories in the comments below. If this story chilled you to the bone, please hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable real-life mysteries, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an unraveling. Until next time, stay curious and question everything.